Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
A social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And, you know, we always like to go to the source, right? And if you want to find out what's going on with Thibodaux, you ask the mayor. And welcome back, my friend and colleague, Clement.
Thank you, Keith.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be here once again.
All right, man. I appreciate it. You know, it's one of those things where we talked quite a bit. We met quite a bit with all these people coming on. These spring festivals have led right into these summer programs. It is busy in Thibodaux.
It is busy. For the last 12 and a half, 13 years, I was in recreation where we knew summertime would be busy, right?
That's right.
Our summer camps and baseball and swimming programs. I thought I might get a break during the summer when I took over this mayor job, but it's exactly opposite.
Right.
And I guess it's a great problem to have. It certainly makes the time go by faster,
Right.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But the spring festivals do kick off. And we just had one last week, the little Thibodaux on Tap Festival, that was very successful. I talked to my downtown folks during the week. They thought the weather might hold them back. It didn't.
No, it didn't slow down at all.
People are looking for things to do, and we are certainly obliged to give them opportunities to do it.
Well, and we got people, Kevin, coming in from all over.
Yeah.
People are coming in from all over the country.
Yeah, they are.
As Thibodaux is again, unique in its downtown, and people come to have a really good time. These festivals are second to none. I mean, they really are good.
They are. You mentioned the international folks and out-of-town folks. We have a group. It's actually a charter bus that comes, and it's French-speaking. It's mostly Canadians, but it's French-speaking people. They come down once a week. They go to Jean Lafitte National Park. They do a little, I don't know if they call it a Thibodaux anymore.
Right.
They do that. They perform music. They learn about our culture, and it's about our Cajun French culture. They learn there.
Wow.
They walk right over the street to Gina's Legion. They do a little music where they have a little band that plays, and you know, that it used to be where it's a stop. Okay. It's not a stopover anymore. They don't just come from New Orleans, make a pit stop in Thibodaux and go to Lafayette. They actually stay and spend the night and get to experience our downtown and our whole culture. I'm fortunate where I live, excuse me, I live on kind of like the walking trail that the chamber puts out. Right. And I swear, now this time of year, we get 1 or 2 groups of people every week that are just walking downtown, and you can tell they tourists. They looking, They reading, their cameras on their hips. It's really amazing. So that is something that French heritage, we strive to keep it. Right. It's not going away. No. There's people that want to come here and they want to experience that, and we do the best that we can for it.
Well, and it's there's such joy that people get to see in that very rich heritage and culture down here. And that's the one big thing. People see, you know, that love of dance, that love of music, the Thibodaux, those kinds of things that we take for granted. We do. Right? Huh? We know it's right here in our backyard. Yeah. But we've got festivals that celebrate that draw from all over. I love that people are coming down every week. Yeah. To be able to do that in a big charter bus.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And now you get to stop in and say, the mayor lives here, right here on our walk.
No, that's one thing. I don't have a sign. I don't have a sign out in the front yard.
Well, you know,
it is fun, to kind of be that ambassador.
Sure.
And you can kind of tell them a little bit about, hey, why don't you try this or go there? If you're sitting over here, you know, try that. So it's a perk of the job.
I like it. I like it. One of the things that people are experiencing is change. and change for the better. And I got to tell you, this roundabout is moving so well.
It is. It is. We talked earlier before we started. I passed there on the way here, and in the middle of it, there's a mound of dirt that's going to be there.
Right.
They said it would be a mound of dirt. They said it'd be 4 to 6 feet of dirt. It's probably got 4 to 6 feet of grass growing in it right there, and you don't realize it because there's so much stuff going around over it. Every time I pass there, I'll pass there 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
Every time I pass there, something else catches my eye.
Right.
God, look at this, or oh, the sidewalk's going to connect that way, or oh wow, that's how they're going to exit people off of it. It's amazing. Those guys are doing an amazing job, and they're quick.
Yeah.
and now they've got 2 or 3 crews doing 2 or 3 different functions, and it is just, it's fun to experience. It's fun to watch, and I'm telling you, we've said this over and over. People are complaining a little bit about the inconvenience of everything. It's going to be a mainstay in Thibodaux.
Right.
It's going to be a central point that people say, yeah, well, look, we passed through the roundabout in Thibodaux the other day. Man, that's certainly a beautiful place, So,
Right.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
And it's such good flow. And I don't even think people even complaining about it anymore, Kevin. It's one of those things where I'm doing like you do. I'm coming through going, oh my good, what?
Yeah.
It's like, it's an oh my almost
Absolutely.
every time we come through. And we see how unique that's going to be. I got to tell you, the first few that were moved, that were done down here, I questioned.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I questioned them. Is it really going to work? I told the state troopers I deal with all the time, man, we're going to have a bunch of wrecks. He said, Keith, the statistics show that accidents go down dramatically.
Sure.
With roundabouts.
Sure, and just the ease of these, the ease of flow for the big vehicles, the trucks, the 18-wheelers, the emergency vehicles, the fire trucks or the ambulances. It's going to be so much easier. It's going to be so much safer for people. So, in the long run, things work out. You got to suffer through it a little bit.
Right.
We still on schedule. We're still on schedule for the end of August.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. It really is. I wish I could. And we're currently putting together a timeline with pictures and videos, and we're gonna publicize that as much as we can. When you look back at it, it went by. It went by that like that, and it's going to be a mainstay in Thibodaux. It's going to be a center point, minus the downtown area and the Canal Street Bridge. It's going to be a center point for our city, and that's all you could ask for.
Wow. And it's going to be under your administration, which is really, really nice, kind of moving things forward from everything Tommy did, and excited about that.
Sure.
But as things move forward, I'm looking forward. Summertime is one of those things. I know from your recreation background, you knew that it was busy, but now all the things going on at Nicholls are excited. We're going to come back and talk a lot more about that, if that's all right.
Sounds great.
Very good. All right, guys, Kevin's going to stick around. You do that as well. We'll be right back on this edition of Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Very glad to have my friend and colleague, Kevin Clement. Kevin, welcome back.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me once again.
I appreciate it. And look, I can't see you or think about you without thinking about sports. Yeah. It's just one of those things. We got to play ball against each other for so many years. But man, some of the things we've got going on this year, Nicholls is that staple in Thibodaux educationally, for secondary education, and now during the summer it becomes a staple for sports from all over the country.
Yeah, it really is. Dr. Clune and I, we meet once a month, and he was in my office last week, and we were talking. It's become the football hub of America during the summertime. Yeah. It really is. I wish that more people, and it's going to get out, but I wish that more people would see the level of commitment that is needed from Nicholls State, from the city of Thibodaux when we host all these camps.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention 3 camps right here.
Let's roll through them.
That bring in a huge amount of people and a huge amount of time and talent into our city. The first is going to actually start this Saturday. It's the Louisiana Line Camp. Don Rodrigue and Pete Jenkins started this camp. I think it's going almost 30 years. They started it in 1987. I'm looking at my notes here. This year, they're going to have 725 total campers. Wow. Yeah. And think about that, right? 725. The cost,
Huge
that's a
line,
record.
man.
That's going to be a record.
Yeah,
by
that's
the
the
way.
biggest we've ever had.
I talked to Coach Rodriguez last week, and he told me that. It's 4 complete days. They get a total of about 40 complete hours of individual instruction. You don't find that anywhere at any camp.
So unique.
50 different coaches. They're going to have 40 high school coaches. There are going to be 11 NFL defensive and offensive line coaches. All the coaches from Nicholls are there this year. And just like every year, Kevin Mawai, Hall of Fame inductee,
right.
He's going to be there giving instruction. He actually has a team from Tennessee that come in. And what you find at this lineman camp, most of these schools send their entire offensive and defensive lines.
Yep.
Coach Valdez, when he was coaching at St. James, their entire team, the local teams, Thibodaux High and Edu, they send them.
Right.
I forget who just took over at St. Aug, but he's doing the same thing. He's sending 20 kids down here.
Wow.
When you look at that's impressive. That's impressive.
Well, you get, again, such great instruction from some of the best from anywhere.
And it really is. And they teach nothing but technique.
Right.
And they do strength and they training and conditioning. And this camp, they actually do skill sessions. They call them skull sessions at night where they review videotape.
Right.
They can take all that home. So they take all that home to their schools and they just get better and better and better. That's really cool. The second one I want to mention is the Pro Football Combine Camp.
Right.
That's going to be this year on July 19th. They're celebrating its 16th year.
Okay.
They're going to have over 450 campers. It's a one-day camp. It costs $50, and it's more of a combine.
Okay.
Albert Elias, the late Albert Elias, David Elias's brother was a scout for the NFL.
Right.
He started this, and Dr. David Elias just kept the tradition going. It's more of a timed shuttle run. How can things that you can do. It's sponsored by Ortho LA and Nicholls State. Obviously, those guys do a tremendous job bringing kids in. And once again, there's over 35 coaches just at that camp, just teaching kids and giving kids exposure. Right. Making them feel important for a day. Right. And there's some serious talent out there, right?
Wow.
And we can't go on without mentioning the Manning Passing Academy. This year, it's from June 27th through the 30th. They're celebrating their 28th year. 28 years. They're going to have a record also. Oh, wow. They're at 1,250 campers as we speak now. I know the Mannings. They're gonna include more. Their registration started in September of last year. They closed it down mid-October, completely sold out, didn't have any more room. They give a full experience with that, right? It's $900, but you stay overnight. You can stay in our dorms. Right. If you just want to be a day camper, it's $650, I believe. 250 coaches traverse themselves into Thibodaux, Louisiana for this 5-day event. Over 50 starting college quarterbacks are going to be here. And they come out with all the who's going to be here this year. Whatever. Right. In the past, we've had Patrick Mahomes. We've had Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, obviously. Last year at the camp, 4 of the top 6 quarterbacks that were drafted in the NFL attended this camp last year. It is a great opportunity for these kids to kind of maybe rub elbows with the winners. We always talk about that. Sure. Huge opportunity. Dr. Clune stated every available dorm room at Nicholls is being used this year. Every available dorm room.
That's incredible.
He actually brings cots in. Right. And they say cots, they're beds. Yeah, but they bring them in. They stuff them in there. Yeah. It's a great problem to have, right? It's not just for quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. They train everybody. Right. It's estimated that brings anywhere from $4 to $4.5 million into our local economy. And I'm not just talking about Thibodaux and Houma. Oh. We're talking about New Orleans because half of these people fly here. That's correct. We're talking about St. James, St. John, Assumption parishes, St. Mary. Everybody. So your hotels are booked. Your gas stations are being used. Your restaurants are really being used. Retail stores. you can feel the excitement.
Yeah.
You can feel it. The city kind of swells up when all that goes on.
Right.
That's just remarkable. $4.5 million economic impact to our city.
Right.
It's amazing what they get accomplished.
We're also doing something I hadn't done in a long time. Tell them about the LHSA.
Yeah. So this year we're probably going to have 300 to 350 high school officials that are coming in. That's going to be next Saturday, June 22nd. I've been an official for over 35 years. Something near and dear to my heart. And we're talking about high school officials. We're talking about regular old guys now. They coming in. We're going to host them at Harang Auditorium, and we're looking forward to that. That's a once-a-year event, and we're fortunate enough to host it this year.
Great updates. Kevin, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
All right. And that'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go in there. A whole lot more right here on HTV.